Good morning. Again, take two, as is my norm. Hi, I'm Casey Durango of Go Keto with Casey, and I like to talk about how I've lost 97.4 pounds on the ketogenic diet and how others may be able to lose weight, improve their health, and regain control of their lives. I'm in my back garden. I hope you can see me and hear me. I will be making some technology changes. I swear I will be. As soon as I get caught up. I'm going to talk today about, excuse me while I do a couple of things behind the scenes here. I do apologize for this. Doing things in the garden are different than doing them inside my kitchen. But I like being in the garden. So I want to talk today about how many of us, including me, have thought, well, I know, low carb diet. I knew for a long time that the low carb diet would work for me. I knew since 1977, believe it or not. But it was never something that I assumed I would do long term. Like a lot of people, I believed when I was said, well, that's kind of good for now, but you'll never be able to keep it up. And I believed them. How silly was that? But I'll hear from a lot of folks who'll say, well, that's fine for you, but you don't understand. I could never give up. And then you can imagine what the comments are. I can never give up bread. Oh, I can't give up fruit. Are you kidding me? Pasta is my life. The thing is, in truth, if we tell ourselves that we can't do something, we probably won't do that thing. And keep in mind, I didn't say if we tell ourselves we can't do something, we probably can't do it, because we can do it. But if we tell ourselves we can't, then we probably won't. It's human nature. We believe what we tell ourselves. N'est-ce pas? And I believe that as well. Like I said, going back to 1977, I knew that eating lower carb would work for me. Got the original, Atkins diet revolution. I wanted to lose about 13 pounds my second year of college, so I did. And then I went right back to what I was doing. But I was young then. I was in my 20s. I was resilient. I was, life was different. I was different. And then I, dabbled with it again later on in years. But most of the time of my adult life, and I was very big. If you don't know my story, go to my blog, CaseyDurango.com, see the before photos. Most of my adult life, I was about 30 years, I would say, I was really heavy, round. And most of that time I tried to lose weight in various ways, like most of us. And I kind of knew that low carb would work for me. It wasn't until I started a well-formulated ketogenic diet, which is what? Say it with me. Keeping total grams of carbohydrate, 20 grams or fewer a day. Eating fatty sources of protein. Not eating if you're not hungry. And stopping when you're satiated. Probably most of you know this pretty well. It wasn't until that very direct, simple instruction rang true with me, or maybe I was just miserable enough that day in January of 2014. And I didn't want to take insulin for diabetes, which I thought I was on deck for. I was next in line in my family. But prior to that, because the low carb has never really totally gone away for decades. It makes a resurgence, and then there are forces that really don't want it to succeed, and so it kind of fades away. But I actually literally thought to myself, there's no way I can do it because I can't give up tortilla chips. Either in a Mexican restaurant or the giant bags that we would buy at Costco. My husband makes wonderful salsa, and I would have the thought, well, I can't give up tortilla chips, so that's not going to work. I might as well not even try. And I believed that because I told myself I couldn't. And I couldn't give them up until I did. because it was just the right moment for me to give up tortilla chips and carbs and misery and joint pain and lethargy and brain fog. So while I was giving up all of those other things, I was giving up tortilla chips and pizza. The thing is, if we tell ourselves that we can't give up a food product, in my mind, two things are going on. We are giving this food product, whatever it is, way too much power. And we're crediting ourselves with far too little power. I mean, when I look back on it for myself, and I recognize how long I told myself that a bag of tortilla chips or a basket of them at a restaurant sitting opposite my lovely maid, that this bunch of corn shaped into triangles was stronger than I? How crazy is that? I'm pretty strong. Even in my darkest moments, I've been a pretty strong and intelligent person. What was I thinking? And it wasn't just the lovely taste of the tortilla chips, which now, FYI, not only do I have no trouble resisting, I have no interest in them. I have no more interest in eating a basket of tortilla chips than I would if they brought to me a basket of gravel. No interest. If I can do that, and it wasn't just the taste of the tortilla chips, it was the emotional component. It was the many times I'd spent with my family, our kids at a Mexican restaurant or around in our kitchen, eating my husband's lovely, delicious homemade salsa. And we would murder a giant bag of tortilla chips, Abuelita brand from Costco. We'd kill it. So it wasn't just the taste, and it wasn't just the physiology of the glucose, being spurned by the tortilla chips and my brain telling me. It's not just one thing. But the thing is, I did give them up. And I've never looked back. My husband gave them up. He gave up rice and beans, which are cultural foods for him. He ate rice and beans plus other foods 2 meals a day, often. And entire bags of tortilla chips. And potatoes. And fried yuca. And 3 slices of pound cake a night with his coffee. He was one of those people who never had a weight issue. But he gave them up because he wanted to make sure that he was as vital and as happy and as strong and as healthy for as long as possible, and he saw the changes in me. All this is to say, just about everyone I've ever talked with, spoken with, heard from, has said, fine for you, but I can't give up. Fill in the blank. Fruit. Chocolate mint ice cream. Bread. Popcorn. Moose Munch. Our friend in Patreon, Nancy, who that was always her thing. It's a holiday thing, apparently. And by the way, I would try to adjust my camera, but I'm so afraid that the whole thing will go teetering over because it is barely standing there as my phone. So it's not a very great camera angle. I'm sorry about that. I will show you my pond, though. Look at this, if you can see it in the background. Our lovely pond. You can't see the waterfalls. My husband made that pond one day. He just started digging. And we put water in it and a bunch of fish and some plants. Anyway, you think you can't do something until you do it. And think about this. The things we tell ourselves that we wouldn't allow those around us to tell themselves. If there was someone you loved who said, well, that's fine for you that you gave up cigarettes, but I can't because I really like smoking. Well, yeah, okay. Well, if you want to say that, if you say you can't, but you probably can. Well, that's fine for you, but I can't give up partying 5 nights a week. Yeah, you can. Fine for you, but I can't give up blowing off algebra class. Yes, you can, friend, child of mine, and you will. You will give up blowing off algebra class. Stop. We need to stop telling ourselves, not just in food, we need to stop telling ourselves the things we can't do, or the reasons we haven't done something, or why it's harder for us because this happened when we were 8 years old, or 12 years old, or 16 years old, or 22 years old. Absent abuse or addiction, we can all pretty much overcome, because we've all heard the stories of those who have. And I'm not trying to be harsh. I'm trying to realize that I've told myself those stories. Fine for you, but it's hard for me. You know, there's the Dick Van Dyke Show way back in the early 60s. There was this episode where Rob Petrie's brother, Jerry, his real life brother, Jerry Van Dyke, comes to visit. And Jerry's so sad. His heart's been broken. His girlfriend broke up with him. And he kind of is moping, and Rob and Laura trying to help him out with stuff. And he says, well, nobody knows how I feel. Oh, you're right. I know, Jerry. I'm so sorry this happened. Well, throughout the episode, he keeps on saying, nobody knows how I feel. And he keeps making excuses for himself, and so do the people around him, for his lame-brained decisions that he's making, or his moping around, or his woe is me. Finally, by the end of it, his older brother, Rob, says, Jerry, everybody knows how you feel. Everybody knows how you feel. You know what? We all know how each other feel. We've all had that insensitive remark made to us. We've all had the embarrassing moments. We've all had a friend or a lover be mean or rude or just plain ugly. We've all had moments in our childhood, our youth. We've all been told we can't do something. You know, Lay's potato chips had a fantastic advertising campaign back in the 60s and 70s. Lay's potato chips. Bet you can't eat just one. How brilliant was that? And so we told ourselves, well, I can't eat just one Lay's potato chip. I have to eat the bag. And so we tell ourselves we can't do something. And so we don't do it. I'm living proof, friends. Living, breathing proof. If I can give up tortilla chips, which I adored and loved and had emotional, familial resonance with me, and pizza, which came in a close second. I was a closet pizza eater, by the way. If I can do this at 5'1", and I'm actually 115 and a half pounds off my heaviest, 97.4 since I started following the ketogenic diet. If I can do this, you can do this. I am not special. I am you. I am almost every one of you. I don't care how old you are, and I don't care which gender you are. I don't care whether, I had a hysterectomy when I was 30. I've been diagnosed and treated for cancer 3 times. I had ulcerative colitis. I have all sorts of other things going on. Hold please, battery low. Let me see if I can fix this from behind. If I can do this, you can do this. Low thyroid, high thyroid, no gallbladder. I think I see a friend of mine in there who recently had a kidney removed. She's got 1 kidney. She's hanging in there. She's still doing it. Hashimoto's, postmenopausal. You can do this. You think you can't give up sugar. And you know what? I had someone write me kindly asking, I don't know what happened to me. I did okay all day. Then after dinner, I was still starving. But I'm happy to say I only ended up eating pretzels and popcorn. At least I laid off the sugar. FYI. Here's a little thing. As far as your liver's concerned, the pretzels, the popcorn, the chips, the potatoes, the pasta, the rice, the bread, it's all sugar. By the time your liver's through with it, it all comes out as sugar. Hate to tell you. But anyway, I digress. I am going to hop off here soon. Trying to keep this short, and I want to give a shout out to patrons. I've got a patron video group chat in just a little bit. I also want to update you on upcoming events. I will be in San Diego next week for Low Carb San Diego. If anyone's going to be there at the conference, say hey. It's going to be a big one, so I'm short. Unless I'm holding up a flag, no one will know I'm there. I'll get lost in the crowd. September 22nd, Saturday, in the Raleigh-Durham, Roxborough area of North Carolina, Adapt Your Live. I'm privileged and honored. Will be one of the speakers, keynote speakers, along with Dr. Eric Westman, Dr. Wickham Simons, Christy Honeycutt Sullivan. I don't know why I continue to do that. Amy Berger and myself will be speaking. Apologies, Christy. And that should be great. Saturday, September 22nd. September 28th and 9th in Portland, Oregon, the Go Keto with Casey Roadshow. You can register for that at my blog as well. Registration fee will go up at the end of August because I have to give a head count. I'll be speaking in Texas in late November, early December, in Houston, Dallas, and San Antonio, private. But if you're in the area, come by. We'll have a martini or a cup of tea. And then the Go Keto with, the Go Keto with Casey, the cruise in March. That's enough of that. But those are coming up, and you can find most of those events at my blog as well under the events tab. And I want to give a shout out to patrons. I try to keep my hand in with public content, because to whom much is given, much is expected, and much has been given me. But most of my content is for patrons. So if you're interested in becoming a patron, daily snippets all the way up to hourly one-on-ones with me for contribution levels, check it out at patreon.com/GoKeto with Now, before my battery runs out, I want to see if anyone has any questions. So, I'm hooked up to my computer. Hopefully I will be able to see the questions. Does anyone have a comment for me personally? Ask me anything. I will give you an honest answer, even if that answer is I choose not to answer. Hey, Denise, I thought that was you. You lovely woman. I'm in Houston. We'd love to see you. Okay, I'll have to look at the dates. Like I said, the talking is for a private organization, but I will be, spending the night in the hotel, and so we can do that. Oh, good. Ulita Seleznov, looking forward to Portland meetup. Are you coming? Have you registered? Ulita, I have not seen your name, but that is great. Just go and make sure you register. This is a ticketed event, but we'll have a Friday evening meet and greet in Selwood, and then at the Lloyd Center on Saturday, we're going to have fun. Fun, games, and prizes. Drinks other than water? Yes. Alcohol on keto is a thing. You don't start drinking alcohol if you don't already, just because you're on keto. But yes, alcohol is, it can interfere with fat loss because the liver has to process the alcohol as if it's a toxin, which it actually is, and then it gets on. But so don't overdo it. But yeah, I have wine, I have spirits. I actually prefer spirits. Someone says Mojo is the one I use. Hey, Denise, I hope you're doing well. Thank you for letting me know. I haven't responded to your email yet, but glad you're alive and kicking. Keto Mojo is now the blood meter I use when I test. You don't need to test just to see whether you're in ketosis, but occasionally I will test. I used to use the Precision Extra, which is great, but the strips are just too expensive. They never came down. Keto Mojo, I actually like the device itself. And, shameless self-promotion here. If you go to my blog and the sidebar, you click on that link to buy the kit, you'll get a 15% discount, and I will get a little referral fee. Tiny one. Any questions? Okay, Vicky asks, I may have missed, but do I need to drink tons of water? No. Unless you have a kidney issue, Our friend Denise may have something to say about that. Unless you have a kidney issue, kidney stones or something, drink when you're thirsty. Eat when you're hungry. And I don't even say eat when you're hungry. I flipped it a bit. Because again, what we tell ourselves is important. When you start a sentence with eat, that plants the seed, eat. I flip it to don't eat if you're not hungry. I don't say stop when you're full. I say stop when you're satiated or satisfied. So don't eat if you're not hungry. Don't drink if you're not thirsty. You are welcome, Tanya writes, with many U's. She says thank you. Good morning, Beth Jones. Okay, and the comments seem to be hopping up and down here, so I'm going to see if I can figure this out on the phone. Pamela writes, love your new haircut. Not too short? I don't know. Jean-Francois Neron asks, hello, what do you think of exogenous ketones? Not much. I think that they are unnecessary. They are literally going to pass through your system. They may give you a positive reading on urine strips or even blood ones. I don't know. Exogenous ketones are being researched for therapeutic ketosis, which is different than nutritional ketosis. Exogenous ketones, many of which are sold through multi-level marketing companies, which means buy this product, oh, and you can become a representative too, and you can sell the product. You know what I'm saying? No. Why do I want to drink ketones when I've got plenty on board in the form of my fat cells? You want to be mobilizing your body's fat cells. That's where the ketones are coming from. Ketones are mobilizing fat for the fuel. Ketosis means you have lowered your carbohydrate intake to a level where your liver is no longer pumping out glucose as a source of fuel, which your body says, oh, okay, no more glucose, no problem. Let me tap into some of the onboard stores here, because there's plenty of those in the form of body fat. And there's the fuel. So why do I want to drink it? Same thing goes with MCT oil and bulletproof coffee. Good morning from Texas. Cat Black writes, keep it simple. Eat real foods and you will have all the ketones you need. You know, I'd like to lose 2.6 more pounds. Maybe more. But 2.6 would make me happy because, you know, vanity. There'd be 100 pounds on the ketogenic diet. Thank you, Susan. Exogenous ketones, very expensive. Also, yes, Kathy, exactly. They're expensive. Unnecessary. There is no product you need to purchase. Not a supplement, not a vitamin, not a liquid, not a powder. There's nothing you need to buy to be 100% successful at this. As a matter of fact, you end up not buying things. You end up not buying junk food, not buying processed food. Most people say their grocery bills come down because the food you purchase, it may be more expensive than it looks, but it's more valuable. And you are satiated, you're satisfied, you need less food. There's less waste in general. You don't need to buy anything. You don't need to buy testing kits. There's not a food product that will get you into ketosis. It's not the presence of something that gets you into ketosis. It's the absence of carbs. It's not the presence. You don't have to pile on the fat. I don't even discuss the M word anymore. The only thing you need to measure are grams of carbohydrate, and that's very simple. 20 grams a day total, not net, or fewer. And those almost always come, in essence, in the form of leafy green or non-starchy vegetables, which are not required in any amount. But if you're going to eat them, about the size of your fist or about a cup of non-starchy vegetables pre-cooked a day, maximum, not minimum, and about 2 cups leafy greens, maximum, not minimum, a day. Many days I don't eat vegetables. and ain't dead yet. Thoughts on Splenda, Truvia, and other. I say find an artificial non-sugar sweetener that you like, or don't have any artificial sweetener. Some people say it triggers their cravings. So find what works for you. We use Splenda. Again, I'm not dead yet. Please. All the drama over Splenda and aspartame. Go to Snopes.com, look up Splenda, and you'll read that a lot of the very inflammatory so-called research into how deadly and explosive Splenda is in your gut, sponsored by the sugar industry. Find one that you like. We don't like the others. We've tried them all. They have an aftertaste. And xylitol is the only one that I use that would came as close as I've come to be sent out of ketosis, interestingly. So we use Splenda. And we don't use it that much, so we don't eat sweets, as a rule. Original topic. Cheese was my chocolate. Heavy cream and coffee was my nightly treat. I was, and I can't see more, so see more butts. I can't see more. Don't recommend Snopes, my friend. They used to be critical. I'm not going to get an argument over that either. Somebody needs to do a Snopes on Snopes. Been using Splenda for 14 years, still kicking. Nancy Bullock. I buy eggs, bacon, and blueberries each Sunday at a local farmer's market. So good, organic, and local. If you can buy local, great. If you want to eat grass-fed and finished beef, great. If you can afford it, wonderful. Again, I'm not going to be distracted by a lot of the fine-tuning. Let's face it. We know we're talking over grass-fed butter, beef, organic so-and-so, when 5 years ago, most of us never even heard of those things. And we weren't so worried about fine-tuning our diets. So let's take it one step at a time. Stop the bleeding first. Happy Saturday. It's important to figure out exact calories, etc. before starting a ketogenic diet. Sherry, here's the protocol. Keep your carbs 20 grams or fewer a day. Eat fatty sources of protein. Don't eat if you're not hungry. Stop when you're satiated. It will take care of itself. No, you don't need to figure calories. Energy needs and fuel do come into it eventually. But that's where, if you listen to your body, and you don't eat if you're not actually hungry. And I don't mean because your tummy rumbled. And I don't mean I'm hungry because it's noon. And I always eat at noon. I mean, don't eat if you're not hungry. And hunger, when you're burning fat for fuel, is a different sensation than when you're burning glucose for fuel, which is almost always your brain telling you to eat because it needs more glucose. I don't arbitrarily not eat if I'm actually hungry, and I don't arbitrarily eat because some app told me how many calories I'm supposed to have. So no, you do what works for you. All I can do is tell you what worked for me. Tess Heller Kern. I have a half a cup fudge. Okay, that went too fast. Count total carbs, yes. Now, some people count net. I don't care what you do. You shouldn't care what I do. If it works for you, frankly, net carbs is just eating more carbs. And some people can tolerate more carbs than others. Could be your age, your metabolic makeup, your gender, your body composition. I'm 60. I'm puny. I'm postmenopausal. I don't need many carbs. I can't tolerate many carbs. Do you eat if stomach is growling but not feeling hungry? No. Tummy growling is not actually a mechanical thing telling you that you need food. It's a circadian rhythm reminding that you usually eat right about now. In my experience, I almost never experience a tummy growl now because my system is not used to eating at the same time every day. Some days I eat more, some days less. Hey, Crystal, you're a patron, you lovely. My stomach doesn't growl anymore. Yeah. So it's amazing. We tell ourselves certain things. We've been conditioned to think certain things. We've been told breakfast is the most important meal of the day. We've been told you need to eat every 2.5 or 3 hours, or else your metabolism will slow down. This one always made me laugh, even when I was fat. If my metabolism will slow down, and in order to keep my metabolism revved up, I needed to eat every 2.5 or 3 hours? Why don't I just eat every hour or every 15 minutes, and then my metabolism will be on fire and I will eventually become see-through? Silly. I used to get nauseated after about 6 or so hours of not eating. Always thought its cause was hunger. I can't see the rest of your thing. Sorry. I can't see the rest of the comments. And I am going to start to sign off here pretty soon. Because I've got some patrons I'm going to be talking with. I am going to give another plug for Patreon. Patrons make it possible for people like me to do this. And there is patron-only content, and I've said many times, many patrons, I believe, contribute to the site not to get access to me, but to get access to each other. There's also a patron-only forum, a safe place to be with smart people. Brand of Greek, yes, 5% Greek, has only 7 cards. Do what works for you, Tess. I usually make our own yogurt. We don't eat it too often. My husband can tolerate more carbs than I can. Hey, Sherry, thank you for that. She loves Patreon and all the perks. How do you join that? Patreon.com/Go Keto with Casey. And Patreon is Patreon. Thank you for asking. Okay, does anyone either have a direct question for me, or any successes or any challenges coming up? I love hearing the success stories. One of the ways I love to end these little broadcasts is asking if you can identify anyone whom you have impacted. A niece, a cousin, a coworker, a spouse, a child, a best friend who has seen your change and asked you, what are you doing? Can I ask you what you're doing? And then you find out they started it. Thank you, Sherry. That was very kind of you. My husband and I just started keto day 3. Yay! Alex, how's it going? How are you feeling? And by the way, if anyone is just starting and they feel like they're experiencing what is called the keto flu, where you kind of lethargic, or your head hurts, you're feeling kind of gross, and that is not, you don't need to get carbs back in. That is almost always because you've dropped your kidneys have shed a lot of water. With the water goes sodium. With the sodium goes some blood volume, and also goes magnesium and potassium. Up your sodium. If you are not a sodium sensitive hypertensive person, about 5 grams of sodium per day is recommended by Dr. Stephen Finney. Friend at work started. Oh, great. Every day I tell people, and they ask. Day 5 and 6 are the worst. Just prepare for it. So get the easiest way to do the sodium, get some cheap bouillon cubes. We use the Knorr brand. They're about 1.1, the big ones are about 1.1 grams of sodium per. Up that up, and that'll help almost immediately. I'm sorry, Edna, I didn't see that. Best friend sees my success and says, you're going to get sick. Oh, please. Was she concerned about you when you actually were sick? Do you drink smoothies or shakes? Thank you, Manette. I think you asked that question a couple of times and it went by too quickly. I prepare smoothies for my lovely mate because in our house, cyclists get smoothies. So if he rides on a 30-mile bike ride, I make him a smoothie of water, sometimes some homemade yogurt if I have it on hand, 5 or 6 frozen strawberries, and a scoop of whey isolate protein. But he's just ridden 30 miles on a bike, and he's not zero body fat, but he does not need to be burning any body fat. So cyclists get smoothies in our house. I guess if I got on my bicycle, I'd get a smoothie too, but that's what goes into it. Not a whole bunch of stuff. Water. If I don't have yogurt, that doesn't even go in. And I don't know that he notices the difference. So water, some frozen fruit, and a scoop of whey protein. Ulita, have lost 70 pounds. Now my sister has joined. That is great. You should come to Savannah. Our son and daughter-in-law got married in Savannah, Georgia on a whim. We flew down there. My husband flew us down in his little airplane. We loved it. Lost 50. Sue McGee writes, lost 51 pounds. People have asked. I've done a short info page for them, and I just lost it. Oh gosh, my best friend lost 40 pounds. I'm on keto because of her. That's fantastic. This is how this is going to change. Eventually, the medical profession will follow suit. That's okay. We don't need them to. You know, ultimately, all we can do is take care of ourselves. All we can do is take care of ourselves. We can't even take care of the people we love because they're going to make their own decisions. Correct? And it's a minefield to talk about food and nutrition and overweight and obesity. I've shared this story before with patrons. My lovely mate has called me from Costco before. Babe. He was doing some shopping. Babe, would it be okay if I told the woman in front of me, in line, my husband's from Colombia, South America, in line, and tapped her on the shoulder and told her to check out your YouTube channel? No, honey, no, you can't do that. No. No. But you do want to tell other people. But people have to arrive themselves. Sad but true. Okay, Beth, take care. Take care. Okay, and I am going to wind down because I do have to get ready for our group video chat. So, thank you for allowing me to be part of this. If you're in San Diego next week, I'm not staying at the Wyndham, which is where the conference is being held. I couldn't get a room. No room at the inn. But I will be there if you're going to be attending the conference. And I'll be meandering about. I'm going to just kind of hang by myself. So that's next week. Remember, September 22nd, Saturday, the Adapt Your Life. You can find information there at the Adapt Your Life Facebook page. Go Keto with Casey Roadshow in Portland, Oregon, 28th and 29th. That should be Portland, Oregon. Yes, not Portland, Maine. Should be a lot of fun. I look forward to meeting so many people. We already have people coming from Canada, Minnesota, Michigan, Texas, Wyoming, Washington State, Oregon, and somewhere else. I mean, they're from all over. I'm really excited. And then the Go Keto with Casey cruise in March. So, okay, Loretta, I can't seem to stick with this diet. Went off after being for 7 months and can't get back on. You can get back on, Loretta. You can get back on. Do not tell yourself you can't. I'm going to scold you, sister. You can. Unless someone is pinning you down and shoving French fries down your throat, you can. The first thing you do is you stop telling yourself that you can't. Would you let your kid get away with that? No. All you do, Loretta, is moment by moment, decision by decision, mouthful by mouthful, meal by meal. Eat what you're going to eat, just leave off the carbs. There's nothing magical about it. If I can do this, you can do this. I don't know how many fits and starts I had. If I can do this, you can do this. There's my lecture for the day. Nice to be with like-minded people. I probably think, I don't know who said thank you for doing this weekly. I probably won't be doing this next week. I'll be in San Diego. Who knows? Maybe I'll do a quick pop-in live during a break. And I tried it last year and the Wi-Fi connection was awful at the place. So we'll see what happens there. And we'll see. Y'all, just do it. Not to rip off Nike. Just do it. If I can do it, you can do it. If all these other people around you can do it, you can do it. It's not magic. The next time you eat something, leave off the carbs. That simple. You can do it. Hasta la vista. Adieu. Au revoir. Auf Wiedersehen. Buenas tardes. Keep it in the road, guys. And be sweet. If I can give up chocolate, anyone can. Words to finish on. Thanks, guys. Bye.